Welcome back to the Daily 90.
Daily 90, that's right. Now, women in Indonesia are achieving little wins to further the cause of equality. But a recent survey revealed that some worrying facts.
The Central Statistics Agency reports that around 33% of women in the country have experienced some form of violence, ranging from sexual violence to physical and even mental abuse.
Yes, today we have with us Vivi from Jakarta Feminist Discussion Group to help us shed light on this issue.
All right, Vivi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So, Vivi, are you surprised with the number?
Actually, I'm not surprised.
You're not? Okay, can you tell us more?
Yeah, because I've been working with an organization that is basically focusing on the issue of gender equality, including gender-based violence. So I get a lot of people coming at me, telling me, asking me some kind of, advice and where should I go if this happens. So when the survey come up, I was just like, well, this is the fact, and this is why people need to start talking about it, because maybe the problem why people seems to be surprised, because this is an issue that not many people are, open about it.
Yeah,
really
that's
to
true.
talk
Yeah,
about
really
it.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Some of them are feeling, I don't know, ashamed or afraid and things like that. That's why.
No, sexual violence against women has always been around for ages, right?
Yes.
But back then, it wasn't a really big issue. No one's actually addressed it as much as it is now. Why do you think that is?
Because I think probably it's back on the conservatism back in the days that women tend to be told that you have no voice, that this is your role, that you have to be submissive. But I think that is basically why men or any other gender feels that they are entitled to do violence to women. But now women are starting to realize that this isn't right. If you are respecting me, you shouldn't lay on finger or being abusive and things
So
like
who
that.
play the bigger role in here? I mean, in terms of giving support for these women to talk more about it. For example, probably media, or maybe the social media, or probably the technology that actually can
Be a platform for them.
as a platform. Yeah.
Well, I think it's all layer of society need to talk about it. We could have started in the smallest environment that we are in, for example, family, because I feel like when you are talking about violence against women or violence in general, you have to include everyone, especially, and you have to start very, very early. For example, with children in school, because sometimes violence itself, it already being, such a big topic, and a lot of people actually normalize violence in school. For example, physical punishment and things like that. It happens a lot for society, and of course, the power of social media, there's a lot of organization or a lot of public figures that actually started to talk more about the issue of violence itself. And media itself should highlight more that this thing is happening.
This thing is a big issue.
Yeah.
And 33% is actually a really big number.
Yes, it is a big
considering that,
number.
not a lot of people are, now it's just only starting to come up. Now, my question is, how do you categorize violence then? What is categorized as violence against women? Because there's many types, like as we mentioned just now, there's mental abuse, there's sexual violence as well. But what actually makes, violence against women?
Violence against women it's clear that it is a violence that is, done or towarded against women, but I prefer to call it gender-based violence, because this type of gender-based violence means that this violence happens because someone expecting such gender to play their role, the gender stereotype roles that is happening. For example, when it happens to partners, for example, husband and wife, the husband probably expects something that he thinks woman should do, and she couldn't, or she couldn't deliver it. That's why he feels that he is entitled to do something about it. So that's why I feel like this violence against women is categorized as gender-based violence, because yes, some people think that you are not doing something that's supposed to be done by a woman. That's why we have entitled to tell you to do this by violence.
So based on your experience, coming from the report from these women, is it mostly from family base or school base?
It's very, very broad. So some of them, for example, the survey from the BPS also mentioned that it's not only happened between husband and wife, it's also between couples, unmarried couples, and even those who are not officially couples. And
Alright.
sometimes it happens between friends that we don't, because I also feel that this violence also is a part, as a shape of abuse of power. So sometimes it's not only happen between husband and wife. It sometimes not happen between family. There's a lot of people that come at me, actually those who are still in a relationship. So they're still dating and it happens.
So what is the biggest issue here? Is it because of how they brought up in a family, or
Culture,
probably
yeah.
culture, or maybe, like media?
Yeah. A lot of people say that there's actually a survey that from UNICEF saying that this violence is actually a circle. So a kid who grew up in a very violent family is 5 times to be more, likely to do violence itself. So it is basically a circle. Sometimes it came from a family. Sometimes it came from the normalizations of male masculinity. Because I talked to, we talked about it back a few minutes ago in a makeup room, that in school, for example, I had experienced my little cousin, she's still in the elementary school, saying that I was bullied by a male senior, and her dad was just saying, oh, he likes you, that's why he does that. And those kind of ideas, saying that men do stuff because they like you, it was not right. If they like you, they should have respect you.
All right.
Right?
So it's basically trying to change the mindset of the educators itself and also the advisors that we give the younger generation, because that's where it starts.
Yes.
Okay, now
Alright,
we're going to go for a short break.
Yes.
Okay, when we come back, we'll continue talking about violence against women here in Indonesia.
And welcome back to the
Yes.
Daily 90s, still with Fifi here. So yeah, we showed the footage of a Gojek driver, women
female
Gojek
application,
driver. So and you have stories about it as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of at some extent, it probably could be more on a gender discriminations type, but so there's actually a lot of stories from the female Gojek drivers saying that they've been, rejected or cancelled just simply because they are female. Because once I had. I booked a female Gojek driver, and she texted me saying that, is it okay because I'm a woman?
Really?
She said, like, I'm a woman, is that okay? Do you still want to have a ride? Maybe it's like, yeah, what's the matter? Yeah, because some people are saying no.
And what kind of stereotyping that you
Yeah, a lot of people saying that female, they don't drive well,
Right, okay.
And well, I drive, and I think I'm pretty good at it. So yeah, those kind of stereotype is still happening, and I think also because this stereotype also could lead to violence itself.
That's true.
So now, in terms of couples, or maybe unmarried couple, they still like boyfriend and girlfriend thing, for example. What is the biggest issue that actually start up that kind of violence
That triggers such violence?
Well, it could be very, very various of reasons, but again, I told you it's because men masculinity, they just wanted to claim that I am I have a power over you, that you belongs to me.
and that can lead to physical abuse, for
Yes,
example.
that can lead to physical abuse, mental abuse, and those many other abuse, because I said to you that violence is basically abusing the power that they feel that they have. That women are mostly vulnerable, especially those who lives in a family that their mother doesn't work, so she doesn't have this economic power that she could rely on. So no matter what, she depends on their husbands. It's not independent, quote unquote. So that's those kind of reasons, those kind of abusive power that somehow become a reason why mostly it's become the root cause why they do violence.
And sorry. Yeah.
And is there a norm, such as in society in Indonesia? Is there something that is also done which certain people will see as violence, but some people in Indonesia would think it's a normal thing, like it's a normal for
catcalling? For example, because female feel, I don't know, I had a lot of heated argument with my male friends saying that you should be proud if someone catcall you because it's part of a compliment, but I don't think it's a compliment. We as women would have know that when someone say that you are pretty, it's a compliment. Then someone
or they're trying to be sleazy.
Yeah, because
like whistle.
Yeah, whistle, and then
Yeah.
it feels like catcalling. It's just a terms of they are objectifying us. not as a person that we are, but as an object, like a sexual object. That's why they are entitled to do that. So that's kind of, it's not a norm, but it's kind of a habit. Because sometimes those who catcall me is like 5 years old kid. It's just not right. Like where do they learn to do that? Of course, from the environment, the neighborhood.
But if you talk about, let's say, catcalling, then it goes down to more into mental abuse instead of physical abuse.
But
And
sometimes
how
those catcalling are
it can lead to
sexual
physical
harassment.
Yeah.
For example, there's a lot of story that you were on a train, you were on Transjakarta. There's a lot of groping and things like that. And there's like a very recent case saying that this man is not doing sexual harassment because he's not touching your skin. He was just touching your jeans.
Okay.
But she's feel not comfortable being touched. So it's so it's still considered. But then again, those kind of education, that a consent education, and also, you know, the violence education itself, the sexual abuse, mental harassment is not very, you know, talked about in Indonesia because of, I don't know, because it's something that is taboo or
Okay, you gave like a couple examples there, but based on your discussion group, is there any solution for this type of, you know, conflicted probably communication between men and women or couples, for example? How do they actually can repair this, fix this type of, you know, violence that can lead to another violence?
Basically, just keep talk about it. If you are on a safe haven, you know, on a safe space that you can talk about it, that's great, because these people, for example, in the discussion group that we had, a lot of people gave advice, a lot of people give like a referral organization that can help you with it. So yeah, basically just keep talking about it, that you were open about it. I know it's not easy, especially that a lot of people are tend to victim blaming. So there's a lot of, for example, violence that a lot of people were asking for. If you were being sexually harassed, people are asking like, what were you wearing?
Exactly,
Where were you at night? Why were you going out that late?
And the victim becomes the one that you can blame, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Those kind of things. Like, so we need to raise more awareness to society that stop victim blaming. This kind of things not happening because of the woman. It's happening because there is something wrong with their partners. There is something wrong with how society shaped the stereotype, how society shaped the idea of masculinity itself.
And do you do any kind of follow-up action toward this?
Yes.
Like you bring up all these ideas to probably schools, for example?
Yeah, there's a lot of organization. The discussion group is basically just to discuss, but the organization that I was working with, we are going to schools, we are dealing with bullying issues, that we are having like this kind of hotline for you to call and saying it's very confidential, so it's all of them is anonymous, but yes, we follow up with it. That's going on. So what's going on? We even help them to process that in a legal system.
Okay. Any upcoming like programs or activities or events, you know, that's probably done to help? Because recently you had the march, the Women's March, and you were also addressing this issue, right?
Yes.
And any more after that?
Yes, we all have some follow-up actions. The latest, the one that is coming up is going to be like some kind of festival, and we're going to talk about it more. But yes, there will be a lot of female and women's NGO that was there to help you with it. So if you feel comfortable to talk with them, just talk to them. Things like that. Yeah.
Okay, and what do you think about the government, Indonesian government?
Exactly, that's what I'm going to talk about.
She's been waiting for that.
So
what do you think about the government action so far towards this?
I don't feel like they actually stand very strong in this issue. We don't have like a specific regulation that actually help women who are, or any other, the gender-based violence to be, punished. We are still in the middle of developing the undang-undang anti kekerasan terhadap perempuan. But then again, I don't know why it takes very, very slow. A lot of organizations are trying to push it, to become, done faster. But yes, we need more people, because I don't think like people really talk about this issue. But when social media, a lot of people, our society is starting to talk about it, I believe that it could bring more pressure to the government, because honestly, there's a lot of cases.
And one thing that I actually got from the radio, for example, they start to, like promoting anti-bullying or
Yeah.
anti-gender-based
Yes.
violence. They started to do that, but in terms of regulation, yes, I
Yeah.
know it's still,
Yeah.
like in the process, but
the government
slow.
doesn't have like a very strong stand about it. Even some government, for example, the police officer itself are the one who's done the victim blaming. The government, a lot of statesmen from our government saying that this is the fault of the parents because
Yeah.
not
Officials,
protecting them,
Yeah.
and it's just like that's not their fault, especially when it happened in a rural area. You have no idea the environment surrounding them, and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Fifi, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you so
here.
much for being on Daily 90.
Thank you for
And
having me.
hopefully there will be a prevention or solution to this issue.
Sign the regulation, please.
Yeah.
Sign the resolution soon.
Fifi, thank you so much. Thank you.
This issue needs to be addressed, right? Thank you,
sorry.
Vivi.